71 odd seats. The BJP is now taken a lead, leading in 80 according to our numbers. The JDS in 26. Will Kumaraswamy be the man smiling at the end of this long day?
Just a health warning, Supriya, these are very, very early numbers. A number of them are postal ballots, so we have to be very clear that these are very early days yet. Yes, it is looking as if we're heading towards a hung assembly. Remember, the strength of the assembly has actually come down. It's now 222 instead of 224 because one election, as you know, has been countermanded because the candidate in Jayanagar has passed away. The other has been deferred because of the controversy over voter ID cards. So the strength required to get that halfway mark is now 111 or 112 because the strength has come down. But it really does look as if it's neck and neck. What I can see from the trends right now, Supriya, is that the BJP is practically doubling its numbers. So it could be that that the BJP will emerge ahead, or in fact will the Congress take another lead, because we understand that the JDS also is doing well. So you know, it's really between the Congress and the JDS, because remember, the JDS begins to fall, that is where the Congress begins to rise, because the vote bank of the two are roughly similar. But we're going to see a situation, I believe, where it is a very highly closely contested election. As we can see, Mr. Kumaraswamy was in Singapore. He has just returned, and I believe he has been keeping completely quiet. But yes, the JDS in a situation where it is likely to be the kingmaker in the event of a hung assembly. But as you know, I would just give that cautionary tale. Let us wait, because these are very early days. There are all kinds of different results coming in from postal ballots, which we have to be careful about. Mr. Sriramalu in Mokalmaru, we understand the big BJP MP from Bellary, we understand is trailing. That is an unlikely result, because Mr. Sriramalu definitely expected to win there. The Chief Minister also trailing in Badami. That again, we will have to wait and see if that changes. But yes, you're absolutely right. It really looks like a fractured mandate. As we've been saying, the Karnataka election is 6 different elections. It's not one election. There are 6 different elections happening in the 6 different regions, different castes, different regions. So there's no pan-Karnataka narrative.
Okay. Sagarika, I have to ask you this question. If this were going to be the fractured mandate that the exit polls seem to be suggesting, and I think that's where it's heading right now. I agree with you, these are postal ballots, but I think we're talking now at 9 a.m. So perhaps the leads are getting firmer. If these indeed are the leads that we will see, if this is a fractured mandate and nobody gets to 113 and JDS has to decide, would it be more comfortable for them to stay with the Congress, given their own, vote base, given their own cadres? Would they want to shun away the voters, or do you believe they will go with the BJP? And what does this do to narrative 2019? What does this do to a Madhya Pradesh, a Rajasthan, and a Chhattisgarh, and eventually to 2019? Really, I mean, give me a scenario on both parties forming government, and what does this mean?
Very right, Supriya. 2019 is all important at the moment, because remember, this election is a kind of momentum building election for 2019. Now, as far as the JDS is concerned, it's attended Sonia Gandhi's dinner. It wants to be part of the national anti-Modi secular front at the center. So I believe that Deve Gowda will be instinctively drawn to the Congress. He will be instinctively drawn to a weaker party, remember, because the BJP of 2006, which H.D. Kumaraswamy of the JDS allied with, is not the BJP of 2018. The BJP of 2018 is a dominant force led by a very charismatic, dominant Narendra Modi. Now, will Deve Gowda risk joining that BJP and being swallowed up by this dominant juggernaut, or will he prefer to ally with a weaker Congress and thereby have a seat at the dining table of the secular front in Delhi? Now, I believe instinctively Deve Gowda will try to go towards the Congress. The Congress, as you know, has been working on a plan B. Siddaramaiah has been talking about a Dalit chief minister. So, if the Congress doesn't have the numbers, and in fact, the Congress needs absolute majority, simple majority for Siddaramaiah to come back as chief minister. If they fall short, they might just project a Dalit chief minister, in which case it will be very difficult for the JDS to resist the Congress, given that it's allied with the Mayawati's BSP. So a Dalit chief minister could be a winning card for the Congress to get the JDS on board by getting a alliance with the Congress without Siddaramaiah. Devagowda kills two birds with one stone. He vanquishes Siddaramaiah, whom he hates, and he gets a seat at the National Secular Front in Delhi. Now for the BJP, it's very important to realize that if they tie up with the JDS in the event that they don't have the numbers, are they going to risk their chief ministerial candidate, Mr. Yediyurappa? Because if they offer chief ministership to H.D. Kumaraswamy, that means that they marginalize their key figure, Mr. B.S. Yediyurappa, who has led their campaign. Will the BJP take that risk? Because if it pushes aside Mr. Yediyurappa, there will be a huge backlash against the BJP going into 2019. So the BJP has to weigh its options very carefully. The only way the JDS will not be able to resist the BJP is if they are offered chief ministership, if H.D. Kumaraswamy is offered chief ministership. But will the BJP be in a position to offer that chief ministership and sacrifice Yediyurappa? You know, that's very important for the BJP because you let Yediyurappa go, you're looking at a huge backlash in 2019. So,
Sagarika, the JDS according to the exit polls was likely to get anywhere between 35, 39 to a 40 odd seats. What they're leading right now is at about a 25 odd seats. So I don't know how much of a bargaining power will they have by the end of this. But a quick last question to you before you go. If Karnataka is about a direct contest between the BJP and the Congress and there is a third player, JDS, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh are absolutely bipolar. This is between the Congress and the BJP. How different do you think that election will be and what kind of cues will be taken from here? Because here the Congress is an incumbent and there the Congress will be a challenger.
You know, Supriya, as you rightly say, the winter elections are ahead in Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan and in Madhya Pradesh. If the Congress loses this election, I have to say it is in terminal and irretrievable decline. If it cannot win in Karnataka, where it is strong, it has strong leaders, it had a strong regional satrap, Mr. Siddaramaiah. If it cannot win even in Karnataka, then it really is reduced to 2.5 states and it is looking at a severe loss of momentum before 2019. Mr. Modi, on the other hand, if he is able to win or if the BJP has a strong showing in Karnataka, I believe it's a tremendous shot in the arm. It shows that Mr. Modi is really a pan-Indian campaigner, that he's punching way above his party's weight. I was there in Karnataka. The BJP looked confused before the Prime Minister arrived. The Prime Minister arrived, 21 blitzkrieg rallies and the BJP was galvanized. So I think we're looking at a situation where both parties are looking to gain momentum before the Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan elections. Remember, in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, the BJP has been incumbent for a decade. In Rajasthan, the BJP has shown, has suffered several defeats in by-polls. So there it is the incumbent, but if a strong showing is managed by the BJP in Karnataka, then I believe it gets a tremendous momentum. It's a remarkable, if it wins, it's a remarkable win for the BJP in Karnataka, because the odds are against the BJP in Karnataka. The caste equation is against them. The divisions, the community divisions are against them. They are not in a strong position in Karnataka. They don't have a local leadership like the Congress has. If they are able to win Karnataka, I believe it is a tremendous shot in the arm again for that juggernaut of Amit Shah and Narendra Modi. On the other hand, if the Congress wins, it gets a tremendous momentum. It gets a tailwind before the elections in Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. It is already looking to go to Chhattisgarh. Rahul Gandhi, remember, is going to Chhattisgarh right after the Karnataka results to galvanize the local forces there, the local leadership there. So the Congress is hoping to score in these winter elections in Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, where the BJP is the incumbent. But if the Congress loses here in Karnataka, then I'm afraid that momentum will be lost and the Rahul Gandhi leadership will be in question, because, you know, Supriya, you can't keep having moral victories for the Congress. Rahul needs an election win. He needs to win. He needs an election victory under his belt. He can't keep saying, I'm having a moral victory.
And this is his first election.
Triumph of humanism. I mean, he has